Hey Saber fans, it's Aaron of A&W Saber Services, and I have another Saber reveal for you today. It is a Korbanth K4. And I'm going to start off with some positives I like about it and go into the negatives, because this has been around for quite some time. I'm sure everybody's heard it all, read it all, and seen it all. So, this is stock, completely stock from the kit. This has a Slide Tools chassis in it with a prizm soundboard. The Slide Tools chassis is the Crystal Reveal version. One of the big pluses I can say about this, while I'm getting used to the Slide Tools chassis, because, you know, in the instructions it says to leave some slack so you can pull it out. That's a no-go for me. That's no bueno. You don't want to leave slack, in my opinion. Because, I mean, you start going to pull on stuff, you know, eventually a wire will snap, eventually. So, anytime I use his chassis, I modify them to where it can just be completely static. Well, not static, but, you know, whatever. It can stay in one spot. It can be fixed. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Similar to a Goth chassis. But they're affordable, and they're not great. They're not bad. So, kind of an intermediate. Now, I will say that the crystal for them is total trash. Do not buy that crystal. Just make your own quartz or whatever. The fact that you have to use an LED bezel with it is a terrible idea. I tried it first. It was horrific. The crystal barely lit up. Well, it lit up. It was okay, but I used a real quartz and modified the chassis to allow for good SD card access, and it's mo better. I like the transistors being the activation switches instead of, you know, maybe using this. Like on, I think an MK1 uses this. Granted, I would love to get an MK1 from Irwin Props one day, but the emitter. Okay, positive. I'm gonna try to stay positive here. It's heavy. It's really heavy.
I felt a great disturbance in the force.
I accidentally pressed the button. Maybe he felt me being negative. I don't know, but it's very heavy. It feels like a real lightsaber should. You know, it's even without the thin wall blade in it, it's got a big heft to it, and I like that. I like heavy sabers, but I really love lightsabers. Lightweight lightsabers. There we go. Even the words in the name. It's supposed to be a lightsaber, like a not heavy lightsaber. There you go. I don't know. Sorry, that was really corny, even for me. Okay. Positives with the chassis and the resonance, it allows for some crazy good sound venting. I would say this is comparable to at least a 24mm speaker, even a Saber Essential. I would even say that. Maybe not as clear, but it's definitely as loud. It's very loud. For a 20mm, I was absolutely shocked, because you hear it outside of the chassis, you're like, it sounds about right. Put the gearbox and the pommel on, it's like, whoa! What is that? Yeah, it's gearbox section, right? Or booster or something. I don't know. I'm not an expert, but anyways, a big negative for me is the set screw placement. Two things. One, it doesn't come with the set screws. They're 1032 1/8 of an inch set screws. That's not available just anywhere. I mean, I had to get them off Amazon. So you got one on that side, one on that side. And the emitter is threaded in the reverse fashion of the thin neck to the emitter. So 9 times out of 10, you're going to loosen that just a little bit. If you tighten it up too much, then you got to bring it back. And yeah. Now, as far as this being unscrewable, I still don't understand why that is unscrewable. There's no functionality there. Is it there for looks? I don't know. Whatever. So, yeah. If I didn't already mention it, this is running a prizm soundboard with a real quartz crystal chamber. You can access the recharge port by just taking off the pommel. So, have your 20mm Veco, have your real quartz, have your SD card access. You can see I modified the chassis just to allow SD card access without having to yank it out. Switches, of course. Wires are going down into the board, so leave it how it is. And I've yapped long enough. Let's turn it on.
Hello there.
Hi, Obi. So yeah, it's kind of hard to actually... Yeah, there you go. Nice red. Oh, full RGB. It's got a red, green, royal blue LED. We'll just stick on royal blue. Now, once you put the bottom back on, you can tell it gets a lot louder already. I was very surprised with how much louder it gets with the resonance chamber. Very impressed. But yeah, recharge port taken off the pommel. Now, of course, the recharge port had to be sanded down on the edges so that it sits flush and it doesn't interfere with this. Had to mess around with that a little bit. This, of course, has a bunch of Obi-Wan fonts on it. Bunch of them. All 6 fonts, actually. Yeah. General High Ground.
Hello there. If you strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
Good old sacrifice. Nice cyan LED. Cyan blade.
You don't need to see his identification.
So this is actually the very first K4 I've ever done. And I must say, it's definitely for the, I guess you could say, avid collector. As, I mean, me personally, I bought one of these once before. Whenever Korbanth was, last year. Whenever Korbanth was having their, see, that's the only thing that sucks about those set screws. They're so tiny, they have to be that tiny, or they're not going to pass this lip. So, I mean, 1/8 of an inch, I mean, you might be able to get away with 1/4, maybe like a 332 or something, but I find it stupid, personally. You know, I had one of these K4s once before, and I was dead set on getting it installed just because I like the heft to it, and that'll make a good static display piece, or get it installed with electronics, and it's good stuff too. But decided to sell it instead. I'm kind of glad I did. Only redeeming factor I can see about this is the weight, the resonance, the buttons. If I ever get an episode 4 Obi-Wan, it's going to be Roman Props MK1. And it's probably going to be the AFBB version. That nice chrome oxide finish. Granted, I just love chrome. You know, just chrome plate the whole thing. I don't care if it has fingerprints. But yeah, there's a lot of redeeming factors about this. The fact that it's, you know, a good mid-range priced saber. And it's got a lot of the good features that a high-end one would have. You know, that this is, if you were to duel with this, it'd be, I would say light dueling. I wouldn't even say medium. I don't know. The set screws being on both sides, I feel like that would help. You might be able to get away with medium, but I don't know. I wouldn't trust it. This would be more of a display showpiece. Of course, you can duel with any saber. It's your call. They're your sabers. But anyways, I've yambled on long enough. Yambled? Rambled? There we go. Must be getting late. Anyways, thanks for watching, Saber fans. And I hope you enjoyed. And until next time, may the Force be with you always.